Now, Silverlight is not technically part of WPF, but it is related. Its original codename was WPF/E, so called presumably because WPF was too easy to pronounce. Now, the E stood for everywhere, and the vision was that this was a runtime that would run on multiple platforms, including mobile phones and non-Windows PC operating systems such as Apple's Mac OS X or even Linux, but which still provides some of WPF's functionality. Now, the first version of Silverlight, which shipped in 2007, fulfilled this vision in a somewhat limited fashion. It provided a fairly small subset of just WPF's graphical features, so it offered none of the framework services such as data binding or layout, and it depended entirely on the browser's scripting support to provide interactivity. And this is the only version that's shipped so far. It supports Windows and OS X. The Linux support's not done yet. That's been produced by Novell, and they don't yet have an official ship date, but they're hoping to be done soon. Silverlight version 2, which is currently still in beta, provides a much wider set of WPS features. It's still a subset, but it's a bigger subset. So it includes data binding and layout and control templating, for example. And more excitingly, it also includes a version of the .NET framework, enabling you to write C# or Visual Basic .NET code that will run on non-Windows clients. Now, the plan is for Silverlight 2 to ship at some point in 2008 for both Windows and Mac OS X, although be aware that while Silverlight 1 runs on both PowerPC and Intel Macs, Silverlight 2 will be Intel only. It will not run on the older PowerPC-based Macs. As for Linux, well, the team at Novell are producing a Linux version of Silverlight 2. Incidentally, the Linux version is called Moonlight. Their plan is to use the cross-platform Mono framework to provide .NET support. So Mono lets you run .NET apps today on Linux and on Mac OS X. It's an open source thing. It's not officially supported by Microsoft, but that's what the Novell team are planning to use to get Silverlight 2 features. So their goal is to provide the full Silverlight 1 and 2 functionality on Linux, although again it's not clear when version 2 is going to ship. Now, even Silverlight version 2 is necessarily somewhat limited compared to WPF. They're trying to keep the download small, and it's around 5 megabytes right now, whereas even the client-only .NET framework is 26 megabytes. So clearly, not everything's going to fit. And for experienced WPF developers, the overwhelming feeling when moving to Silverlight is one of extreme claustrophobia. And also, the technical challenges of building a rendering component that can run in multiple browsers on multiple platforms means that Silverlight does not do hardware acceleration. All of its rendering is done in software, so it can't offer the same level of performance as WPF. But it's still worth being aware of Silverlight 2 as a WPF developer. Silverlight uses XAML, and such WPF features that it does support work in much the same way as they do on full WPF, so it's fairly easy to become proficient in both. But for the rest of this course, we're going to focus only on full-strength WPF.